Billy stops Patty in Dublin and asks what's the fastest way to Cork. Patty says, "Are you going by foot or by car?" Billy says, "Well, I'm driving the car." Patty says, "That's the fastest way." Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. My name is Lee Wright, and I'm an aspiring author in the historical fantasy and science fiction categories. This is the first video I'll be putting up on my channel, and so I thought it would be a good idea for me to do the Authortube Newbie Tag that was originally set up by Jenna the Dark One. Let's jump right in. Question number 1. How did you find out about Authortube? I've been watching Authortube videos without knowing it for a couple of years now, and I just realized that there must be a community for all these people who, given all the collaborations and the related content. And so I just did a YouTube search, and there it was, the Authortube community. Question number 2 is, what genres do you write in? I like to write in historical fantasy and science fiction. Question number 3 is, what is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category of story? I like to write in the past, third person, and I guess my category of story would be new adult, although I tend to like to write my stories for every audience. Question number 4, are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser? I am a plantser. I'll start out with a very short outline, and about halfway through it I'll throw it in the garbage. I just like to remain very true to whatever my characters are telling me the story should be. Question number 5 is, are you self-published, published, or yet to be published? I am yet to be published, although my work in progress is completed, and I am looking into the traditional publishing route. Question number 7 is, what Authortube-related videos can we expect to find on your channel? I would like to get into the deeper aspects of writing, like why is writing important, how can we use it to encourage people, even people we don't know, like our readers. I would also like to do some collaborations with all the people I've been watching for so many years, and of course I'll be doing some staples like how to do character development and dialogue and all that stuff. Of course, I will try to keep it interesting because I know everybody else has said a lot of great stuff on that, and I don't want to be repeating what they've already said. Question number 8 is, when did you start writing? And I started writing back in 2005 in my family's sandwich shop where business was really slow, and from there I started doing what is now the number one thing I love to do. Question number 9 is, what is the first story you ever wrote? And it was called Of the Three Kings. It was about 3 kings who sailed across an ocean in a fantasy world to establish a kingdom. It was heavily inspired by the works of J.R.R. Tolkien and G.A. Henty, and to this day I still like to reuse some of the themes and characters from that book, even though the original work I might never publish. I was very young at the time, and so if I ever did publish it, I would like to enhance it with some of the skills I've learned over the years. Question number 10 is, what authors have inspired your writing the most? And firstly, I would have to say C.S. Lewis. I've always appreciated the way he could just take any concept and explain it in a way that somebody could understand. Einstein said, if you can't explain something simply, then you don't understand it yourself. And C.S. Lewis had this great way of explaining things simply and in a way that everybody could understand. Also, C.S. Lewis had a great imagination. You read his Space Trilogy or the Chronicles of Narnia, Screwtape Letters, just great immersive worlds that he takes you through. Next, I would have to say Davy Crockett, and a lot of people don't realize he was an author, and I'm not talking about the legend of Davy Crockett. He actually wrote an autobiography, and he insisted that it be at least 300 pages long, because to him that was the only length that a real book had to be, or longer. And there's a quote from Billy Bob Thornton, who plays Crockett in the movie The Alamo. He says, "I was never afraid to stretch things a little bit, but I never learned to lie." And so I always believe that we need to keep our works, even of fiction, honest. Talk about real things that real people deal with. But if we stretch them to make them a little bit fantastical, a little bit more relatable, a little bit more interesting, then I think those are good tools. And those are things that Crockett believed in. Then, of course, you have to have J.R.R. Tolkien there, who isn't inspired by J.R.R. Tolkien and his world building. I grew up reading the works of G.A. Henty. He wrote about 200 books in his lifetime. I've read about 100 of them. And then, actually, I also really appreciate the works of Benjamin Franklin and his autobiography and Poor Richard's Almanac and stuff like that. So, Question number 11 is, do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get to writing whenever you find the time? I write whenever I have the time. My work sometimes requires long work hours, and so I just have to get my writing in whenever I can. I do make a point to write every day, but I do have days where I write 6 words. I've had days where I write, 13,000 words, but, it's in the spectrum of there. But I write whenever I can. Question number 12, do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything out by hand, or use a blend of those? I primarily write on the computer. I do own a typewriter, but I never had the patience to learn it. And every once in a while I use my smartphone to take down notes, if I don't have my computer accessible. And lastly, question 13 is, what are you most looking forward to now that you're part of Authortube? And I'm looking forward to interacting with the community, maybe doing some collaborations. Like I said, I've been watching other people on YouTube, again, Jenna the Dark One, Jenna Moresi, Travis McBee, Jordan Harvey, The Authentic Observer, Kim Chance, David Stewart, and tons of others. And I just really want to give back to this community that I've learned so much from and get to know some of these people that I've watched for so long. I would also highly recommend you go back and check all their channels. I'll have their names listed below. Alright, well that's it. Since this is a new YouTube channel, I'm totally open to any topics for videos, so if you have any ideas, go ahead and leave those in the comments down below. Also, while you're there, go ahead and leave a like or a dislike if you need to, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos in the future. And remember, God is good all the time, and I hope you guys have a good day or night wherever you are. Bye-bye.